Hello everyone. Uh, I'm really sorry for uh, abruptly ending the last video like that. But I was recording it. I was screen recording real time. There's my videos are not edited or anything, so I had to end it there because I had something else to do. So sorry about that. Alright. So now in this video we're gonna start off where we left last time in the last video. So yeah, let's hop into it. Be in your chamber then at that hour, and do not take it amiss if your visitor wear a mask. This is indeed a mystery, I remarked. What do you imagine that it means? I have no data yet. It is a capital mistake to theorists before one has data. Insensibly, one begins to twist facts to suit theories instead of theories to suit facts. But the note itself, what do you deduce from it? I carefully examined the writing and the paper upon which it was written. The man who wrote it was presumably well to do, I remarked, endeavoring to imitate my companion's process. Such paper could not be bought under half a crown a packet. It's peculiarly strong and stiff. Peculiar, that is the very word, said Holmes. It's not an English paper at all. Hold it up to the light. I did so, and saw a large E with a small g, and a P and a large G with a small t woven into the texture of the paper. What do you make of that? Asked Holmes. The name of the maker, no doubt, or his monogram, rather. Not at all. The G with the small t stands for Gesellschaft, which is the German for company. It is a customary contraction like our Co and P, of course, stands for Papier. Now for the EG, let us glance at our continental gazetteer. He took down a heavy brown volume from his shelves, Eglonets. Here we are, Egria. It is in a German-speaking country, in Bohemia, not far from Karlsbad, remarkable as being the scene of death of Wallenstein and for its numerous glass factories and paper mills. Ha ha ha. My boy, what do you make of that? His eyes sparkled and he sent up a great blue triumphant cloud from his cigarette. The paper was made in Bohemia, I said. Precisely, and the man who wrote the note is a German. Do you know the peculiar construction of the sentence? This account of you we have from all quarters received. A Frenchman or Russian could not have written that. It is the German who is so uncourteous to his verbs. It only remains, therefore, to discover what is wanted by this German who writes upon Bohemian paper and prefers wearing a mask to showing his face. And here he comes, if I am not mistaken, to resolve all our doubts. As he spoke, there was a sharp sound of horses' hoofs and grating wheels against the curb, followed by a sharp pull at the bell. Holmes whistled. A pair, by the sound, said. Yes, he continued, glancing out of the window. A nice little brougham and a pair of Buries. 150 guineas apiece. There's money in this case, Watson, if there is nothing else. I think that I had better go, Holmes. Not a bit, Doctor. Stay where you are. I'm lost without my Boswell. And this promises to be interesting. It would be a pity to miss it. But your client, never mind him. I may want your help, so may he. Here he comes. Sit down in that armchair, Doctor, and give us your best attention. A slow and heavy step, which had been heard upon the stairs and in the passage, paused immediately outside the door. Then there was a loud and authoritative step. Come in, said Holmes. A man entered who could hardly have been less than 6 feet 6 inches in height, with the chest and limbs of a Hercules. His dress was rich with a richness which would, in England, be looked upon as akin to a bad taste. Heavy bands of astrakhan were slashed across the sleeves and fronts of his double-breasted coat, while the deep blue cloak, which was thrown over his shoulders, was lined with flame-colored silk and secured at the neck with a brooch which consisted of a single flaming beryl. Boots, which extended halfway up to his calves, and which were trimmed at the tops with rich brown fur, completed the impression of barbaric opulence which was suggested by his whole appearance. He carried a broad-brimmed hat in his hand, and while he wore across the upper part of his face, extending down past the cheekbones, a black wizard mask, which he had apparently adjusted that very moment, for his hand was still raised to it as he entered. From the lower part of the face, he appeared to be a man of strong character, with a thick hanging lip and a long straight chin suggestive of resolution pushed to the length of obstinacy. "You had my note?" he asked with a deep, harsh voice and a strongly marked German accent. "I told you that I would call." He looked from one to the other of us, as if uncertain which to address. "Pray take a seat," said Holmes. "This is my friend and colleague, Dr. Watson, who is occasionally good enough to help me in my cases. Whom have I the honor to address?" "You may address me as the Count von Karam, a Bohemian nobleman. I understand that this gentleman, your friend, is a man of honor and discretion whom I may trust with a matter of the most extreme importance. If not, I should much prefer to communicate with you alone." I rose to go, but Holmes caught me by the wrist and pushed me back into my chair. "It is both or none," said he. "You may say before this gentleman anything which you may say to me." The Count shrugged his broad shoulders. "Then I must begin," said he, "by binding you both to absolute secrecy for 2 years. At the end of the time of the matter will be of no importance. At present, it's not too much to say that it is of such weight it may have an influence upon European history." "I promise," said Holmes. "And I." "You will exercise this mask," continued our strange visitor. "The august person who employs me wishes his agent to be unknown to you, and I may confess at once that the title by which I have just called myself is not exactly my own." "I was aware of it," said Holmes dryly. The circumstances are of great delicacy, and every precaution has to be taken to quench what might grow up to be an immense scandal and seriously compromise one of the reigning families of Europe. To speak plainly, the matter implicates the great house of Ormenstein, hereditary kings of Bohemia." "I was also aware of that," murmured Holmes, settling himself down in his armchair and closing his eyes. Our visitor glanced with some apparent surprise at the languid, lounging figure of the man who had been no doubt depicted to him as the most incisive reasoner and most energetic agent in Europe. Holmes slowly reopened his eyes and looked impatiently at his gigantic client. "If your Majesty would condense to state your case," he remarked, "I should be better able to advise you." The man sprang from his chair and paced up and down the room in uncontrollable agitation. Then, with a gesture of desperation, he tore the mask from his face and hurled it upon the ground. "You're right," he cried. "I am the king. Why should I attempt to conceal it?" "Why indeed?" murmured Holmes. "Your Majesty had not spoken before I was aware that I was addressing Wilhelm Gottfried Sigismund von Ormstein, Grand Duke of Cassel-Flenstein, and hereditary King of Bohemia." "But you can understand," said our strange visitor, sitting down once more and passing his hand over his high white forehead. "You can understand that I am not accustomed to doing such business in my own person. Yet the matter was so delicate that I could not confide it to an agent without putting myself in his power. I have come incognito from Prague for the purpose of consulting you." "Then pray consult," said Holmes, shutting his eyes once more. "The facts are briefly this. Some 5 years ago, during a lengthy visit to Warsaw, I made the acquaintance of the well-known adventurers Irene Adler. The name is no doubt familiar to you." "Kindly look her up in my index, doctor," murmured Holmes without opening his eyes. For many years he had adopted a system of docketing all paragraphs concerning men and things, so that it was difficult to name a subject or a person on which he could not at all furnish information. In this case, I found a biography sandwiched between that of a Harbi Rabi and that of a staff commander who had written a monograph upon the deep sea fishes. Alright, everyone, this video is already like 11 minutes long, right? So I'm gonna end it here for now. So yeah, see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, alright? And watch the entire video if you can. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Bye.